Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 3 of the Into the Paranormal podcast with me, Corey Beam, my co host and cohort in all things paranormal, Kevin Leonard. Please join us as once again we delve into the creepy, the unexplained, and the sometimes strange. Welcome to the Into the Paranormal podcast. And as always, our sponsor today is the Coastal Atlantic Paranormal Association. Kevin, tell us all we need to know about Kappa.
Coastal Atlantic Paranormal Association is a paranormal research team that covers the East Coast, mostly Florida, Georgia, the Southeast Coast. And if you feel your home or business is haunted or you're experiencing things that you can't explain, you can reach us on Facebook at Facebook/Kappa Paranormal, Twitter at Kappa Paranormal, Google Kappa Paranormal, or you can visit our website, kappaparanormal.com. There you'll find the application to submit a help request, and we'll get right to you. And when things go bump in the dark, we bump back.
Awesome, awesome. And I do want to say we are now on Spotify, Into the Paranormal on Spotify. Um, and
That's right. You can find our podcast most places that you listen to podcasts.
so
So just search Into the Paranormal Podcast, and we should pop right up.
so broadening our reach. And Kevin, since I'm going to let you go ahead and start, I know this is a topic that you're pretty passionate about. So let's hear it.
All right, so today we're going to talk about the difference between a paranormal investigator and a ghost hunter. Are they different? Yes. Are they the same? Sorta. Is one better than the other? No. And we want to talk about and discuss, maybe even help you figure out what you are if you delve into the paranormal. Uh, Here at Kappa and the Into the Paranormal podcast, we are paranormal investigators. And what that is and how that differs than a ghost hunter is your way about researching. Both do research the paranormal, both are investigators, but a paranormal investigator usually involves a client. We have a reason that we're investigating. We go in at Kappa, we go in as skeptics. We go in to try to disprove any claims, any hauntings. So when a client reaches out to us and they tell us their claims, we go in to debunk their claims. We go in to find any reason or any logical explanation why their location is not haunted. And when you find that evidence that you can explain and you've searched high and low, you've done the research, you've tried to recreate several times in different situations all of their claims, and you can't find an explanation, and you get that concrete evidence, then that's when your evidence is that much more compelling and concrete. Ghost hunters usually go with a group of friends. They might have the same tools that we have, but they'll go with their friends to cemeteries or the local haunted location and try to have a good time. They want to experience the paranormal. They want to experience the ghost stories for themselves. They want to find out if it's true or not. And that is a ghost hunter. I hate to say a thrill seeker, but they are in times thrill seekers because they want that thrill. They want to go to these locations and experience it and get the thrill. You every town has its local haunt, its local legend or cryptid or whatever the case may be, the urban legend. And you have these people that will go there and just try to scare themselves. We, as paranormal investigators, we go in, usually, like I said, for a reason. We go in to disprove, because you could also do a paranormal investigation at these same locations. We don't really investigate cemeteries unless there's a location tied to it. An example, if we were called to someone's house or a church or a building of some sort that had a cemetery in the yard, or the family owned a cemetery land or something like that, one of those old cemeteries, and they had claims that tied to their specific case, and they might request that we set up cameras or we spend some time in that cemetery, then we'll investigate the cemetery or whatnot. But your ghost hunters, they'll spend most of their time in the cemeteries or whatnot. And at the same time, like I said, ghost hunters can be investigators because we all started from somewhere, and usually that is a cemetery, because when you're first starting out, the first thing you think of, hey, I'm going to go to the local cemetery with a digital recorder or with a digital camera or a video camera and try to talk to spirits or whatever. Um, yeah, anything you want to add to that? I
Yeah,
just kind of
yeah.
went on.
Well,
I
okay,
could
that's
go on and
all.
on about
That's
it.
all we've talked about. Everything we need to have a good one.
Yeah. See
No,
you next time.
no, I definitely agree with everything you said, especially to the point where we kind of all started as ghost hunters, right?
Yeah.
When we talked in our intro episode, I rode my bike with my mom's camcorder to the local cemetery. Um, I think that's what most of us did. We slowly graduated to um, different things. I remember the first investigation of a building I ever did, and that was in DeLand with Kappa at the Artisan Inn downtown. And I was so thrilled. I felt like, wow, this is finally happening. I remember that feeling. Um, but absolutely agree with you on that. And I don't think either one is better than the other. I think it's great to have a passion in things that are interesting and paranormal and mysterious. I think it's nice to have that thirst for knowledge. It just, like you said, it depends on how you go about that. And I don't want to say that the paranormal investigator is the more professional, because I don't like using the word professional in this field. I don't think anyone
Right.
is a professional anything.
Right.
Um,
Right. There are no certificates that we were given.
right. I did
There
not
was
go
no
to
college that we go
college.
to.
Right. I do not get paid to do this. Um, and I could be wrong about every single theory that I believe in.
That's the
Um,
beauty of the word theory. They're all
right,
theories. No
exactly.
one has the absolute 100% right answer for anything. And
Exactly.
that is what fuels paranormal investigators, I believe,
Oh yeah.
because we're all in it to further the field and to gain that research and try to get concrete answers for these theories.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, that is what drives us, is the thirst to want to understand and prove or disprove theories, prove or disprove what people are experiencing. And what I think we talked about it too. Either way, whether I prove or disprove something, that's great. I want to find the answer, and I'm not saying like a ghost hunter doesn't want to find the answer. I believe that's what I
Right.
started as. It's just at what level you're at, um, and your approach. And if that's what you want to do, if you want to go to cemeteries and just I know the term thrill seek, but that's the term. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Thrill seeking is fine. Um, then
Yeah.
then then have at it. If you want to
Yeah.
run into the woods where someone said they saw Bigfoot or a dog man or a werewolf or whatever it may be, well, maybe not run into the woods randomly where maybe you should
I mean,
think
that's,
about that a
yeah.
little deeper.
Disclaimer,
Yeah,
Into the Paranormal and Kappa Paranormal are not telling anyone
yeah,
to run into the woods for any reason,
yeah. Do not run into the
let
woods.
alone for Bigfoot
Yeah,
or Dogman or werewolves or
yeah.
nymphs or
Or
anything.
garden gnomes, and whatever the reason is, um, yeah, just don't go running off into the woods.
Yeah.
But you know, my train of thought was slightly derailed there. but basically, it comes down to the approach, how we go about things, and I guess you could tie it into our episode from last week. What would you say, in your opinion? Uh, what are we watching on TV? Are a lot of these people, are they paranormal investigators? Are they ghost hunters?
Hmm. See, I don't know them in real life, so I don't know how they conduct their investigations. I mean, if they conduct their investigations like you see on TV, that would be paranormal investigating because the vast majority of the shows, they do show research because that is a key. That's most of your paranormal investigation is research.
Okay.
So they do show research and they show, the investigation part of it. The ghost hunting part is just the hunting part. So, and I think that those two words, I mean, it actually just clicked in my mind how those two words define their own genre because a paranormal investigator investigates and a ghost hunter just, goes hunting, you know. I mean, I'm not saying like, Elmer Fudd out, with a gun or something, but they're looking for something. And I always tell people, especially new members when they join Kappa, you don't go looking for the paranormal because whenever you're looking for something paranormal, everything is paranormal. You go
Yeah.
in to disprove.
Yeah.
Does that make any
Yeah.
sense?
No, 100%. 100%. And I definitely agree with the last thing. I think a ghost hunter doesn't really have a set goal where we have that
Right.
set goal.
Right.
And
We
and
have
you're right,
clients to please.
that too. Absolutely. I do think, when it comes down to it, um, we you know, that end goal is a big key difference, and it is correct. I think in anything paranormal that you should go in trying to disprove it, because if you can disprove 95% of what's happening, and then you got this 5% that you've put all your effort in, well, then you might have something there. You still might
Right.
not, but you might. And you can say, hey, I mean, paranormal doesn't necessarily mean ghost, or it just means something that we don't understand, not inside the
Right.
realm of normal.
Right.
Um, but no, I completely um, agree with that outlook, 100%.
Awkward silence there.
Awkward silence, isn't
But
it
yeah.
fun? No, but
Yeah.
and I never really thought, and there's a great post you can read. It's from earlier this year on Kappa's Facebook page, where Kevin went into very good detail about the
Yeah.
differences as well, and that's actually what fueled this episode. Um, was talking about
Yeah.
that difference, um, and what it means. I don't, we always said, if people ask what you do, like I got my Kappa shirt on here. He's got
Me
his
too.
Kappa hat. We got our Kappa shirts both on. Um, and if I'm walking around in it and people ask, well, what is it? Are you a ghost hunter? I don't usually try to explain the differences. No, I'm actually a paranormal investigator. There's a difference. Um, because they don't care. The people,
Yeah.
to them it's all the same, and that's fine. I mean, um,
Right. And that goes back to, like I was saying, there's a thin line between a ghost hunter and a paranormal investigator. And again, neither one is better than the other. So
no,
if any of our listeners that may, go out to cemeteries or uh, do an investigation in their own home or whatever the case may be, um, there is no better version of a paranormal enthusiast because that it's an umbrella under that.
Mhm.
Um, so if you want to be a ghost hunter and you don't want to be in a team with commitments or whatnot, then that's totally fine. But I think a lot of people just kind of get confused on what the two are. And a lot of people that may need help, they may not know the difference between the two. And that's really
Yeah.
why I wanted to speak on it. And that's what fueled me to make that post. And because say you're living in a home and you're experiencing all this stuff and you don't know what is going on, you're seeing shadow people, you're hearing footsteps, and no one else is home. You checked everything. Um, things are disappearing and then moving around, or you just see a full blown apparition, and you go looking for people to contact. You want to know the difference between because ghost hunters, they not the TV show, but ghost hunters, they can also have like a Facebook group or page of fellow ghost hunters in the area. um, but you want to look for a team of paranormal investigators to come in and or just speak to. Sometimes just speaking to someone can help a lot. It doesn't always involve an investigation, just someone to talk to give you the answers or their best version of the answers because again we're all learning and we don't all have any answers. We don't have 100% proof of anything. So you want to look for the right people to contact, to talk to, and ask for help. So you want to look for a local paranormal investigation team in your area versus a team of ghost hunters. Now, that's not to say that these ghost hunters in your area aren't wanting to become paranormal investigators,
Mhm.
you know?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that may be a good gateway for them. I mean, it all goes into know who you're looking for, know who to contact, and then talk to them. Find out how long they've been investigating. Talking goes a long way, and you learn a lot about the team and how well that they will help you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And
I kind of trailed on there a little bit, but
no, you're good, but no, but everything I 100% agree with everything you were saying there. You know, when we go into a location, especially a client, um, there's the investigation that okay, people think we're just walking around in the dark asking things to come out. There's a lot that goes on behind, before that happens and the after. We have research on the property, and that can take a while. I remember uh, last year we had a client, and we were doing research, looking through books, and I do remember finally finding some information that um, was relevant to the location after digging through book and book and book. And it's such a great
Mhm,
feeling. That's a thing that I don't think we talk about enough. Is we do hard research on these places, especially when there's a client. Not
mhm,
as much the bigger places, because we know the information. It's out there already. For us, we may still look into things, but not as hard as
right.
like the smaller clients because we actually have to dig a lot of that information up ourselves. But there, that's just the start. Then you have to go through all, we don't just listen to the stories and then go trying to talk. We want to figure out, okay, is there some kind of explanation that can, I get that we could disprove. That goes back to the disproving, debunking. Um, it's great if you can get evidence, but it's just as great if you can disprove everything because in the end, that client is looking
Can
for,
sleep in their own home.
right, they're looking for that reassurance. They're looking to feel comfortable, and they want to know that they're not crazy. And if they're, even if the answer isn't paranormal, it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, they're crazy. There are a lot of things that happen that are not paranormal. Sensitivity to EMF. Um, Sometimes it can be
Medication.
medications. Absolutely, that's not another one that's not talked about enough. Medications have weird side effects, and but no one should
Or it
feel.
could be a deeper psychological issue for the person themselves.
And I think we've dealt with that recently as well, and it can be
Mhm.
difficult. But I think that's where I don't know how someone who doesn't go in as an investigator versus a ghost hunter would deal with that. We
Right.
had we had trouble as quote unquote. I would call us seasoned. That's not, again, not, but we've been around.
Yeah.
But
We've been
even
across the block a little bit.
we have, especially the cell block. Um, that was good. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's what you know. But it was still difficult. So if someone's going in there that doesn't have that experience, it could not only cause them to say things are paranormal when they're not, but it could really cause more harm
It can make the
emotionally.
situation worse.
Yeah.
It
So
can
you
make the
do,
situation a lot worse.
exactly, and you do need to know who you're calling in as a client. Um, there are reputable teams like Kappa out there that
Right. And that's not
do.
a plug for Kappa. I mean, definitely, contact us if you need any help. But like I said, look in your area. I mean, you could be in Los Angeles, California. Look for teams in your area that have a reputation, that can be trusted, that you yourself trust, that you would
Exactly.
trust, around, like, to help you and your children, because especially, in cases that involve children, that
Hmm.
all that we just said is that much more important.
Absolutely. Um, yeah, yeah, especially the ones that involve children. You don't want to be going in and making things worse. And and that's a good thing. If someone's watching this, or someone, and they do possibly have a paranormal problem, there are a lot of great Facebook groups out there where that people will guide you to teams where they've had good experiences with. Um, but definitely do your research and make sure you're talking to people that I'm not going to say know what they're talking about, because this is all theory. So you know, I'm not going to use that term, but people that you feel comfortable with and people that have a reputation for being um, professional and upstanding investigators, um, and you should be good. And you know, be careful for the ones that um, may be out there for maybe not necessarily nefarious reasons, but
And never trust a team that charges you.
oh, absolutely, yeah, that's, and I still do see that sometimes, and I can't
Yeah.
believe that's something that exists. I don't get that. Do not understand it. Um, I don't think. I think we've also talked about this um, on the podcast. We don't make a dollar. We don't make a penny
Right.
um, from investigations. It's not something that will ever happen.
Right.
Um, and if anything, the stuff that the trips, the gas, the equipment that comes out of our
Equipment.
pocket. You know,
Yep.
um, we're doing it because we're trying to find answers, and we're trying to help people. We're not doing it because we're going to become rich. Um, uh, so yeah, definitely watch out for that. If anyone ever tries to charge you for any type of investigation like that, I'm not going to say they're frauds, but best to find somebody who is not going to do that.
Right. I was gonna say, I mean, they may be great investigators, but you can find other great investigators that won't charge.
Now, if you want to feed the investigators, they may like that. We've been fed before. That was nice. Um, and there, if you feel the need to, you know, do something nice, that's on um on your own. But no, they should never be asking you for anything like that.
Yeah.
But
So
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I lost my train of thought again.
We are just a caboose lost in the sand right now.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. It's been a long day.
I and that's another thing. We've talked about. Me and him both worked full full days at work. We
Yeah.
um I still have some things I should go over from our last investigation. I know that sounds bad, but it's so hard to now. If this, I will say, if there was a client involved, it would be done. I would have made more time. What that takes precedence, of course. Um, but yeah, when you work full-time jobs and then you have other things going on. I had to leave work, go get an oil change, run to the next city, come back. I got to sit here. We got a podcast to do, and I'm happy I'm here doing it, but I'm also
Yeah.
tired. So,
Yeah.
what happens? We're human. We're um, you know,
So yeah, I think we've covered that topic pretty well. Um, I wanted to extend an invitation to our listeners again to submit any stories that you guys may have. Again, like Corey said, we're on pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts. Uh, so if you have a story that you want to get out and want us to share with the world, uh, email us.
yeah.
Um, Hit us up on Facebook. Um,
I mean, I would love to
or
put a segment into these podcasts where we have story time and we talk about viewer submitted stories. I think that'd be a lot of fun to do.
right, that's what I was kind of segueing into. Just kind of, at the end of the show or whatever, we kind of read our listeners' stories or whatnot. Or if you have questions for us,
Yeah, anything.
that'll be great. Or if you
Questions,
want to
comments.
hop in and join us, possibly, we'd love
Yeah.
to hear from you.
Listen, this is a podcast by we're no, this is just gonna end up with that paranormal guys joke again. I don't know if I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole because
This
I
is
didn't
a
get
podcast of a paranormal guys.
but but in general, yeah, exactly. This is we're doing this because we love to talk about the paranormal and we want you guys to join us. Let's have a good time. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to do. I mean, it's what we live for.
Yeah,
It
we want to hear
should.
your ghost stories, your paranormal stories in general, cryptids. Have you seen Bigfoot?
Oh, that'd
We
be
want to
great.
hear about it.
And then I want you to tell me where, and we'll go find it. But we're not gonna go running off into the random woods though.
Which is kind of what he sounded like he was going to
I'm gonna do some research before I do that.
do.
But do you have anything else to add, Kev?
No, no. Like I said, I think we covered it.
I
I just
think
wanted
so.
to I wanted to add that whole part into it because we kind of skate by it a little bit toward the end where, hey, send us something. I wanted to spend a little bit more time on that, which we did.
Absolutely. And uh, I know in the show notes here on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, you can find our links, facebook.com/into the paranormal podcast, facebook.com/kappa paranormal. You can also email us at IntoTheParanormalPod at gmail.com. So those are some ways. You can also go to kappaparanormal.com as well. That's another way to reach out.
Or you
Um,
can tweet at Kappa at Kappa Paranormal or visit the Kappa Facebook page at facebook.com/Kappa Paranormal.
So we have tons of ways to reach out. And also, yeah,
Or
and we
email Kappa, info@kappaparanormal.com.
listen to that. You have so many options. We'd love to hear from you.
So there's
Truthfully,
no excuse for
no
you not
excuse.
to.
No excuse. But yeah, and remember, if you are on the go and you don't want to open YouTube, you can check us out on Spotify and like he said, wherever you find your podcasts. We are thrilled. We have some really good topics upcoming, and possibly uh, a pretty well-known guest coming on too. So keep an eye out for that. We're really excited about that. So hope the guys will stay tuned and enjoy the ride with us. But
See you guys next time.
sounds good. You guys have a good time. And as always, stay spooky.